But when I'm at a gym, I don't expect to suddenly feel this slimy tongue on my leg. How's everyone today? I'm anti-woke and autistic. I'm going to talk about emotional support animals. I'm not talking about service dogs, service animals. There's a difference. I'm talking about emotional support animals, also known as ESA. And I'm going to be real blunt about this. The rising prevalence of ESAs in the public is reflective of, for lack of a better term, the pussification of America. Yes, indeed. What is it with all these emotional support animals lately? A generation or two ago, especially 2 generations ago, people went into the community and did just fine without some little doggy tucked away in their purse or in their shopping cart or walking alongside them at Home Depot. Now, I know some stores allow pets regardless of the alleged reason for them, but let's face it. Have you seen all the emotional support animals out there? Sometimes they have a vest on that says emotional support. I've talked to people about their dogs and just like, oh, you have a little dog here. Oh, yeah, he's an emotional support animal. So I know many of these dogs I see in public are ESAs. Why are people so convinced these days that they're too mentally weak to go out in public and run errands or whatever they're doing in public without an emotional support animal? What's happened to people? What's gotten into them? Well, you're probably wondering, why does this bother me so much? Well, I'll tell you why it really bothers me. There's 2 reasons. Number one, I don't like to see that people are becoming increasingly mentally weak, increasingly playing the victim, increasingly adopting woke ideology. Secondly, one of them jumped on me at the gym. I mean, that's a whole new level of mental weakness, is when you have to bring an emotional support animal into the gym. I was on the gym floor. I was in the area where all the bench press machines are or equipment is. And I suddenly feel this thing at my leg. And I look down and it's this dog about this big. And I'm saying, whose dog is this? And this woman comes out of nowhere and she says, oh, he's my dog. And I said, what do you have a dog in the gym for? Well, she's an emotional support animal. She's also a service dog. I don't believe for a second that that was a service dog. It had jumped out of a bag because I connected the dots. I saw this bag near a bench that she had walked towards me from, and the zipper was open and there was like a gap. And I just put 2 and 2 together that the dog had been in there and had exited it and came scampering up to me. This doesn't mean I hate dogs. I've had 2 dogs in my life, all right? But when I'm at a gym, I don't expect to suddenly feel this slimy tongue on my leg. It's not like I was at a doggy park. That's something you would expect. This is a gym. Anyways, this was not a service dog. A true service dog, goes through rigorous training to perform certain tasks, and then it goes through a very strict test. And if it passes the test, it's an official certified service dog. A service dog would not do what this dog did. I've seen real service dogs. They'll sit like statues while people are dancing around them. People are playing with balls, playing catch. Kids are running by. There's the odors of steak cooking. If it's a barbecue, there's music. I mean, there's just all sorts of auditory and visual and olfactory stimulation around these dogs, and they're just sitting there so obedient. This dog at the gym leapt over to me. Why? All I was doing was stretching. I wasn't even jumping or anything. I was just standing still and stretching my leg. And this woman, she had eyelashes that looked like paintbrushes. She had like a lot of makeup on. And, if you want to wear a lot of makeup and if you want to put the tips of paintbrushes on your eyelashes, on your eyelids, fine. Go ahead, you do you. But what the Sam Hill are you doing bringing a dog into a gym in the name of emotional support? Why would you need emotional support at a gym of all places? Does the gym inflict some kind of brutal horror on your mind that you need little Fluffy to keep your nerves calm? The gym itself is an antidepressant. The gym itself is a de-stressor. Ask anybody after an intense workout if they feel more mellow, more calmed, very unwound, very re-regulated. And they'll tell you, yes. Why would you need an emotional support animal at a gym? Why would you need an emotional support animal at a gym? There's a few other possibilities that could happen here. Like, for instance, well, before I tell you about those, what was odd about this woman was that when she was using the bench, I noticed that she was doing bent over dumbbell rows and her ass was pointing towards the bag that had the dog in it. So if that dog was supposed to be giving her emotional support while she was doing bent over dumbbell rows, how come she was looking in the opposite direction? How come she wasn't facing the dog so it would be in her line of vision? See, that doesn't make sense. What kind of emotional support was that dog giving her if it's over here at the end of a bench in a bag while she's over here doing bench squats and whatever else she was doing? Well, you might be thinking, well, just knowing the dog is there gave her comfort. Look, if she truly needed comfort from a dog while working out, she needs to find out why she's so mentally fragile. There's also a possibility that she's allowed herself to be indoctrinated or manipulated by an increasingly woke, playing the victim society. It's possible that she's entitled. She's been overly coddled all her life and feels entitled. She thinks she's a diva. Maybe that dog isn't an ESA. Maybe it's just a companion to her and she feels entitled and she's made up the excuse that it's an ESA to get away with bringing it into the gym. However, when I mentioned this to the director, I said, are dogs allowed in this gym? And he goes, yes. And I said, well, maybe they shouldn't be because unless it's a seeing eye dog, a diabetic alert dog, a seizure alert dog, a dog for somebody who's got a mobility impairment, but an emotional support animal. And the fitness director or the gym director told me, well, legally, we're not allowed to ask people why they're bringing in a pet, why they're bringing in an animal. I said, you got to be kidding. He says, no, we're not allowed to ask. And I said, you mean I can bring in a 170-pound Great Dane and you're not going to ask? I could just waltz in here with a miniature horse? And he said, yes. And he said it has to do with some law or something that was passed originating from California or some kind of nonsense. Think of the possibilities. Now, I mentioned a second ago possibilities. How far can you take this? Where do you draw the line? What if somebody decides to bring in an emotional support snake? And that snake is slithering around on the gym floor. Where do you draw the line? What if somebody brings in an emotional support bird and that bird gets loose, and while you're grinding out your set of back squats, that bird starts flapping around in front of you? What if the emotional support animal is a very small dog like the one I saw, and somebody is doing incline presses with 90-pound dumbbells. And have you ever seen a man finish a set with like 100-pound dumbbells, 110-pound dumbbells, 90-pounders? They throw them to the floor. Oh, I got an itch here. They throw them to the floor. Well, what if, while that's about to happen, little Pixie jumps out of her little sack and scampers over towards this guy, and little Pixie is right in the spot that he throws down a 100-pound dumbbell. Splat! Really? I mean, it's only a matter of time before something like that happened. Maybe it already has. It wouldn't make national news, but I bet something like that's happened. What if somebody has a psychological condition where they're prone to panic attacks or a fit of anxiety if something really unexpected and jolting occurs? So, what if they're doing deadlifts, for instance, or something that requires some degree of balance, like maybe one-legged deadlifts, and right when that happens, Fluffy dashes across them and they jolt and they drop a dumbbell or whatever, and they have a panic attack. Look, here's another thing to consider. How are you going to develop resolve and inner strength and mental toughness and a spine of steel if you've allowed yourself to believe that you can't go into the community and shop, eat at McDonald's, shop at Walmart, go to the store, go to the mall, go to the shoe store, go to the post office, go to Starbucks or wherever without an emotional support animal? How are you going to develop inner strength? Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't see a counselor. You need to see a counselor. You need to see a mental health professional to help you become independent. Now, I'm not talking about, again, I'm not talking about service dogs who serve as people with PTSD from war. I'm talking about ESAs. This woman at the gym, she was very lively. She did not have any apparent physical problems. She was doing a pretty decent workout. She initially identified the dog as an ESA. She didn't say it was a service dog first. She said it was an ESA, and then she tossed in it's a service dog. And I think she tossed that in because perhaps my facial expression showed disdain when she said it was an emotional support animal. I don't know. And she was talking a lot with some guy there, and she just seemed like a typical, very talkative woman. A generation or two ago, autistic people went into the community and did fine without emotional support animals. Now, many people get emotional support from their pets once they get home. I've had two dogs in my life at different times. When I get home, I pet the dog. I play with the dog. That's my emotional support. Some autistic people do have or are at high risk for having incapacitating meltdowns in public due to overstimulation, or they could become very uncomfortable with fluorescent lighting, sounds, loud noises, crowds, maybe odors. I'm very sensitive myself to odors. I could smell somebody's breath 30 feet away, and it can make me come this close to barfing, to gagging. But I'm not prone to meltdowns. But for those who are, I still question. They would need a service dog. Seems to me they would need a service dog because a service dog would be specially trained to maybe detect that a meltdown's coming. Service dogs can detect when a seizure is coming. They can detect when blood sugar gets too low. They can detect other things going on with their handler. I'm sure they could be trained to detect that their handler is beginning to develop or go into meltdown mode, that a meltdown is coming on. And then the dog is trained to do something specific to help manage that oncoming meltdown, such as maybe lean its body into its handler a certain way, or nudge the handler, or give the handler some kind of signal that means it's time to sit down or it's time to find a quiet place. But an emotional support animal isn't trained to do those things. For all we know, if somebody has a big meltdown, it'll scare the dog, and the dog will mimic that behavior and have a meltdown too. Who knows? Anyways, I think this thing with emotional support animals has gotten entirely out of hand. It's the product of a woke infested society. People have been brainwashed into thinking they're not mature enough or strong enough or good enough to navigate the community without their pet with them. The pet could be a snake, it could be a hamster, it could be a bird. I mean, it could be a tarantula. I mean, it could be an iguana. Where do you draw the line with this nonsense? Do you want to be sitting next to or nearby somebody at a cafe with an out of control emotional support animal? What if the animal smells? What if it's a dog that never gets bathed and you have to smell that while you're eating? What if a dog sheds easily? It's a breed that sheds easily and it keeps shaking and all the fur is floating in the air. What if you're allergic to dogs? Again, it's one thing if somebody's blind or has seizures. That's a true service dog. It's not going to be shaking, or it's probably going to be pretty clean, so it's not going to be smelling. But an ESA is no more trained than any other dog or any other pet. What if it's a snake and you're sitting 10 feet away from this snake that's this long? And that person says, well, this is my emotional support pet. I need it. People are becoming more and more of a victim mentality and more feeling entitled like a diva or whatever the male version of a diva is. They're subscribing to woke ideology, and it's quite frankly the pussification of America. We used to be a country of iron and grit and resolve. Now we're a country of weakies, weaklings, mental weaklings. Leave your dog at home for crying out loud and learn and grow up. Learn to navigate the community as an adult. And then when you get home, pet your dog. We know that petting a dog lowers blood pressure. We know that it slows down heart rate. We all know that pets bring joy to our lives, and people with dogs, for instance, tend to be a little healthier and more physically active than people who don't have dogs. It's just some studies show that. So we all know that having pets is good for the mind. We know that having pets is good for the mind, but that doesn't mean you have to go overboard and pass yourself off as a mental weakling. People are going to see you as a mental weakling when you have an emotional support animal. It's like this person has a major crutch. They're afraid to go out into the community by themselves. I'm not going to believe for a second that the majority of people with ESAs have autism, for instance. According to the CDC, only 1 to 2% of Americans are autistic. I believe that 1 to 2% refers to official diagnosis. There's a lot of undiagnosed people walking around, and there's people who are going to die in old age without knowing that they would have gotten diagnosed with autism had they been assessed. But I still have to believe that the total number of autistic people, meaning both diagnosed and undiagnosed or misdiagnosed, is down here, while the number of people with emotional support animals in public is way up here. So it's not logical to assume that most of them are autistic. It's not logical to assume that most of them have crippling agoraphobia or social anxiety disorder or some other thing. I think the majority of them are simply taking advantage of permission to bring their dog into public thanks to a woke society. Many of them have been trained to see themselves as victims and as mentally weak, and have convinced themselves they're not mentally, psychologically strong enough to do things in the community without little buddy in their arms or in their shopping cart. A lot of them are also just simply taking advantage of what's permitted. They don't identify as having any kind of psychological problem or weakness, but they know they can get away with bringing their favorite companion into any business establishment. Bottom line is this: ESAs should not be allowed in public, and if you need a dog to manage a diagnosed condition that you have, then you should get it trained to be a service dog so that it behaves in public and so that it knows specific tasks to help you with your condition. It's that simple. So that's all I have to say about ESAs. Have a good day.